but obviously you need to know what you're looking for. And this is it.
Yeah, this looks like a little baby milk tree, and this is like nature's milk and magnesia, and that's going to be really good for my stomach, and also just give me a bit of energy. But the way you can tell it's just a really simple alternate leaves. It's got then these pointy end buds, and then when you break it off, you see this milky sap come out of it.
Next to this little sapling is a full-grown milk tree with its distinctive bark, which looks like army camouflage. Normally you should avoid eating plants that have a milky sap, because it's often a sign that it's poisonous. But I know this tree isn't. This sap is a form of latex, and it's known to help settle your stomach.
Just amazing. It tastes so like kind of creamy.
I don't feel 100%, but I need to keep moving and follow the river downstream. I've no idea how far I've gone, but I feel like I'm making progress. But it is exhausting. My appetite is returning. I can't see any fruit I'm sure of, and after last night I'm not taking any risks. But inside every palm tree is a meal. Some palms, like this Bactris, are hard to get into, but others are easier.
And this stuff is just called heart of palm, and if I strip off the outer levels of this, the very center of it is really beautiful, white and sweet. And just get the last little bit of it off.
It tastes a bit like asparagus, and I can see why it's thought of quite a delicacy.
And that just tastes, you can almost taste the nutrition in this.
I know I'm not going to get much further today, so I'm going to start getting ready for another night in the jungle. After last night, I'm going to get some mosquito protection before they eat me alive. The sharp smelling sap of this camphor tree will protect me. This is what mothballs are made from, and it has the same repelling effect on mozzies. You can tell the camphor tree by the distinctive white patches that appear where the bark has been cut or scratched. I'm making more cuts in the tree because its resin burns really well, and I want to use it later to make a torch.
My fire's lit and I've got a shelter made, but I really fancy trying to catch some fish here. And this is a good time for doing this, just because the fish that I'm looking for are much more docile at night time. But all I've done is get a bit of wood, wrap some palm fiber around it with some camphor resin to keep this thing burning, and this will burn for a good 10-15 minutes like this.
I'm holding the torch low over the water to look for shrimp or crayfish. I've used some vines to tie my knife to a stick, so if I see anything, I can just strike it and stun it long enough to grab it.
And that's the first living thing I've caught in this jungle. And that's a real result. These crayfish are easier to catch without the knife. But if I can just get one fish, that will make a really proper meal. Come on, off you go, off you go. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I had it, it was dead. It was dead on the knife. Oh, man, the torch is dying as well. Well, I've got 4 crayfish, and that's not bad for supper, but it would have been a feast. But it's just now semi-feast. But I'm gonna go and cook these before it's died. Just having caught those crayfish and watching them cook, it's completely lifted my spirits, and I know that in a survival situation, the battles are won or lost in the mind. And there's a story of the 17-year-old Marcos Martinez who got separated from his uncle when he was out in the rainforest, actually in this area, and he ended up spending 13 days and nights on his own, living off green bananas and drinking contaminated waters from the streams. And eventually, after 40 kilometers, a very sick, dehydrated and disorientated Marcos staggered out to safety. But what he said is that he was most scared of the animals during the night, but that his faith in God had really kept him going.
Whatever you use to keep your spirits up, it'll help you survive. Sometimes it's nothing more than campfire food.
It's just been pissing a rain for about 4 hours now during the night, with thunder and lightning everywhere, and everything I've got is just completely drenched. It's just getting really, really demoralizing. The first few hours of shelter worked, but since then it's just been pouring in everywhere.
Another sleepless night has made me determined to get out of the jungle as fast as I can. Especially because I no longer have the river to myself. These are spectacled caiman, close relatives of the crocodile, and they move menacingly through the shallows. Further downriver, they may be American crocodiles, twice as big and 10 times as nasty. If I meet them, I could be in real trouble. I'm keeping this stick with me. You should never get near a crocodile, but if you do, the advice is to go for its eyes and its nostrils. Last mile or so, the landscape has changed dramatically. The ground has become flatter and the river wider. I'm walking alongside it now, and the riverbank has flooded.
I'm on the banks of a really, really decent river here now, and this could well be my ticket out of this jungle. And if I can just work out some way of heading downstream, I will eventually reach a village or settlement or even the sea. And there's every chance that by tonight I could be in a warm, cozy bed.
I'm fighting my way through the tight tangle of bushes that overhang the water, so I can get into the river itself.